Alright, y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Call the meeting to order. Everyone's present. Appreciate that. Stand up. Say the pledge of allegiance. Attention, salute the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Got time to read over the minutes, just let me know, and we'll move forward.
There's a possibility that just a little bit of sawdust in that transmission will help.
Is everybody done? I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial reports.
Make a move that the financial report be approved as presented.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Fire department report.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to be here. So I got a kind of a lengthy report because it's been a while since I've been here, and I've been little information given to Jeff, but some of this I felt like that I needed to present. So last month the department made 47 calls. That is way beyond our normal response. So our call volume is increasing. It seems like every month, but our average last year about this time of month was about 28 to 30. So we're almost 17 calls ahead of what we were already last year. Right now we have $14,943 in the bank. So 5,000 of that we were recently awarded a grant through the National Volunteer Fire Council and Nutella for purchase of one P25 800 compliant radio. So as soon as 911 figures out whether they're going to stay with the trunking P25 system or go to a conventional trunking, I'll get that radio ordered. So that leaves us about $9,943 available balance to handle our bills, any equipment issues or anything like that. We recently have gotten the grants for the National Volunteer Fire Council, like pallets of canned water that we've got given to us off of a grant. We also won a grant through the National Volunteer Fire Council for electrolyte powder for our water. And there's an outstanding grant. We'll know whether about August 31st if we get it for a new set of battery-powered extrication tools. It's a $10,000 grant through the National Volunteer Fire Council for extrication tools. The lady at the National Volunteer Fire Council is very surprised that we've been awarded every grant that they've been given so far. So she was pretty excited for us about that. I know the mayor's aware of it, but week before last, we were across the street testing hose at the church for our ISO inspection, and we had a malfunction on the older engine, the bigger engine that we have, not this new one that we have, but the older engine. It started spewing water out the pump. As you know, we had a major catastrophic pump failure several years ago, and this thing sat out of service for a year. There was no hydraulic fluid leakage, nothing like that. It was just water spewing out. It still went into pump, come out of pump, everything's good. I had it taken to EEP because we really need a secondary engine. You never know when one's going to go down, you need another one. So I've taken it to EEP in Pelham, which is Emergency Equipment Professionals. So far what they have found is the tank to pump valve needs to be rebuilt. It kind of blowed out, the valve kind of blowed out. And there's 2 pump gaskets that need to be replaced where some pipe orifices connect into the pump. They don't have a price for me yet, but that's where we're standing on that. And I just talked to EEP today, and so far that is the only things that they found at that. So, you know, as far as a price or anything, I don't know anything about it. So, you know, fire department will make every attempt to try to pay for that repair. So I just wanted y'all to be aware of that. Depends on how much the repair costs, on whether or not that we may seek out, you know, maybe meeting halfway or something on the repair. We had our ISO inspection today. So it's been since 2020 since we had an ISO inspection. In 2020, we were rated a 5.5X. That means anything within 5 miles of a fire hydrant or a fire station gets an even 5 level. Anything away from that is what they call a 5X. So we had our inspection today. The inspector was very nice, very cordial. From all the stuff that I presented to him as far as training and everything, he does not see where we're going to drop from a 5.5X. My goal was to try to push us over because the point system, it works on a point system. So our points in 2020 was 51.37. To move up to a next level before, which is an even more insurance saving for the public, is a 60. So we did take a little bit of a hit because we do not have a truck on the mountain anymore. You know, historically we had a fire truck that was sitting in the chicken house on the Murray property. He's going to give us partial credit because that chicken house is still there, so technically the station is still there. But we're just not going to get the full credit for that station because there's not an actual fire apparatus to run out of it. I will say thank you to the council because that annex building has saved us a lot of heartache. He told me that if he had pulled up here and whatever trucks were outside sitting in the parking lot could not have been inspected or counted toward our inspection. They have to be in a housed facility with thermostatic heat. And I said, well, we know from the bills that it has thermostatic heat. The annex has helped us a lot, so I'm very appreciative of that. We lost a few little points because our last rescue unit, you know, it was more of a utility rescue unit, so it had more equipment on it. And Billy had used that to get us graded as a service truck. So the potential for a service truck is still there. I just did not have that equipment on it because I thought we were counting something else as our service truck. So there's a few things that we need to add on to it, but he gave us partial credit for that truck as being a service truck. Because most of the equipment that he said we needed to have on it was laying out there in the floor. I told him if he went to the car and took a break, it'd be on there. So he's going to give us some partial credit for that, but he said we can work toward full credit the next time. We picked up some points from me becoming a certified fire inspector through the fire college, a certified fire investigator through the fire college, and also a life safety educator. So when we go to these churches and work the Halloweens or whatever, that counts as fire prevention. When we run structure fires, if I start looking for the cause and origin on the fires, which I already do, that counts as our fire investigation side. And as far as fire inspections, you're supposed to do any high occupancy buildings like the churches, the store, you're supposed to do inspections on them. I'd already begun that process, but he said there's a little more that we need to work on as far as the inspection side. But we do get full credit for me being those certified levels. Our training was much, much better than it was the last time we were inspected. Every one of our firemen had over 140 hours. 200 is the goal. So we're getting there. So we're at 140 hours documented, so we're going to get a little bit of bumping points there. We also have done since I've become fire chief pre-fire plans. That means I've pulled up Google, printed off the actual overhead of all the churches and the stores. I've actually went to those locations, marked where the power boxes are, marked where the fire department connection is and everything, and they're actually sitting on the dash in the truck. While they're not pretty as I like to have them, they're there and they're for use. So we got those points because we didn't have any of those last year. But like I said, he said he doesn't know for sure if we'll have enough to get to a 4, but he knows very well and confident that we're going to stay a 5, which was my ultimate goal. You know, when you have a leadership change, you get that little buffer zone, you know, that, well, are we going to regress or are we not? Was all the documentation taken care of? But we were able to provide all the pump tests, all the hose tests, all the hydrant flows and everything. So I've at least got us to stay a 5, and we can pray that maybe we get enough points that we can push over into a 4. With the inspections deal, and it does not have to be done tonight, and I would like for everybody to be involved in the research with me as whatever, is he suggested that the town needs to adopt some ordinances that pertains to fire inspections. You know, giving the fire chief the authority to do fire inspections to businesses and stuff like that. And he says that, you know, you basically put in the ordinance, you recognize NFPA 1001 or whatever the inspections is, and it's the town, an ordinance states to all the businesses and churches and stuff that the fire chief once a year will come around and do a fire inspection. It's nothing like we're going to write tickets or anything like that. It just gives me the authority from the town to perform these fire inspections. And he also asked if we had anything for any illegal burning within the town limits, and I told him no, that we don't have anything like that. I know Cleveland just passed both of those ordinances a couple of months ago, and I got a copy of those ordinances that I'll get everybody a copy, just kind of look over so that way we can do our due diligence and research for the future. Because I personally think that pretty soon Rosa's going to start growing a little bit more, especially on the 231 stretch of things, and I think if we can stay ahead of the ball game or whatever, we don't fall behind on everything once these Dollar Generals pop up every block in 231. I have added Susan Moore to our automatic aid to the mountain. They have a 3,000-gallon tanker. As you know, there's only a few hydrants up there. There's mostly dry hydrants that are at some ponds on Red Mountain Loop and also Towns Road. So I've added Susan Moore up there in case we need some tanker supply or whatever. And caveat to that is, so I can call in a year, I can call for what they call a water haul drill. I can come out here to the fire station, notify all of our automatic aid departments, set up our dump tank or whatever, and time how long it takes us to dump our tanker, how long it takes us to fill our tanker, how long it takes us to get the fire stations here and start dumping their tankers into it. It's a time process, and keep up with your flows, measuring your flows or whatever. And if we successfully pass that, that means our entire fire coverage becomes whatever, like a 5 or a 4. There's no subset of 4X for the no hydrant. Basically, everybody gets credited for a hydrant because you're going to use a tanker shuttle in those non-hydrogen areas. So I've added Susan Moore there. I've already added Bluntsville there. They can come across the mountain. They have a 2,000-gallon tanker. Trying to get as many, basically a tanker task force headed this way if we have a structure fire up on the mountain. And lastly, we've added 2 more members to our department. We had 2 younger couple that had moved down from Michigan into Aniana, and we had volunteers for the fire department in Michigan, and they said that they drove by Rosa for the last month, and something on their heart told them to reach in and stop by, and so I've got them on the membership roster, and they're making calls, and so now we are 15 strong, including myself. Our average on scene for medicals and fires now is 7 to 8 people.
That's good. Appreciate all you've done, Shane.
Blueberry tractors.
Huh?
No blueberry tractors. You put them up
Yeah, we've done had some guys go out and clean around the hydrants and do some water flow and making sure they're working. You know, part of the deal is you can put reflector, small little bump reflector in the road as you, yeah, there's some that's blue and there's some that's white. The box, I don't know if they sent us the wrong reflectors, but when they opened up the box, they were like the white reflector. But you go down the road and you'll see it like sitting in the lane right in front of the fire hydrant.
Okay.
The only other thing he said is on the dry hydrants are 3 or 4. One of the dry hydrants is actually Aniana's up on Palisades Parkway. But our 3 dry hydrants, he said that before the 5-year mark is up, we need to show that we're going out there and flushing them, back flushing them, actually pulling water up out of the ponds and flowing water. And he says that we need to get somebody to come out and do what they call a 5-year drought study. That's something that you have to present with dry hydrants as well. That's all I got, unless y'all have any questions.
I have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So, the ordinance is pertaining to the fire district or just the jurisdiction of the town?
I would have to research that because I know Cleveland's is just the town limits. So I would have to research that if it could expand out to the fire, actually the fire area or whatever. Like I said, there's a lot of research that I need to do. This is my first time being part of a town and you know, looking toward ordinances like that. We'd all be learning together.
And then, if it's just the town limits, there's what, 3 churches and 2 businesses? If you count the diesel shop down there, like.
Right.
And then,
I would think it would be inside town.
I think the town only has jurisdiction within the limits.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. And you know, Cleveland's a little bit larger than we are as far as our town limits. So, like I said, that was just a suggestion for him for future growth, and that's not something we have to act on immediately or anytime soon. It's something we can kind of all do our due diligence and research and see. It might not even be a good fit for Rosa. You know, state of Alabama actually says in the bylaws of the state of Alabama under the fire stuff is that the fire chief is automatically the fire investigator and the fire inspector. But he said that sometimes these businesses will do a little kickback if you walk up on their door and say you're here to do an inspection, and this kind of gives you a little meat, you know, that hey, you may have to come up here before the town council if you're not going to allow our fire inspector.
And then back in the 2000s, we had an initiative to put a fire hydrant within 1,000 feet of all the residences. Do we still have that coverage in the town?
We've got about 15 hydrants that are like within the town area. I've got a map out there that I can actually show you after we get done with the meeting where all of our hydrants are. But our weakest area, of course, is the mountain. Of course, that's not all in the town. But as far as down here in the valley, our town limits, I think, are pretty good as far as hydrants.
I remember, you may have been on the council when I remember when they put those in, because there's one like right across from my house.
I think I wrote the check for it.
Yeah, I remember when they put all those in, and it was like,
It's a big deal, it really made a difference in their insurances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe got a grant to do that thing?
We
Y'all
funded
funded
it, we funded it, yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get the water department to come out here and look at this one. When you turn it on, it starts bubbling up from the ground, so it's got something going on down there.
Did he ever replace that other one? You said it was another one he got.
Out there, Gary White's old place, they still have yet to replace that.
That it's shady.
Yeah, Shady Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
the tornado, where they did clean up and tore it up.
Yeah, the guys that told me the other day that when they had the list, they went by there and they said, unless you know where that hydrant is, we can't find it. And I said, it's out there. I mean, I was joking with them, it's out there.
It's part of the traffic cones.
But yeah, I'd like to, once I get the water
that's
department.
not what that traffic code's for.
Need to find out what the status is on that as well.
I was gonna say, between some of us, we should remember where that was, cause Mom and Daddy were alive back then.
And it's still down, it's not down here, below your house.
No, they're talking about the one by Shady Lane, over there where,
Across from the Gordon place.
yeah, and they're building their house right there. Well, they're barndominium. Those things are getting popular, aren't they?
Here's gonna be a house.
Yeah, it's, yeah, Natalie and, what's his name? Andrew, yeah. Natalie and Andrew, that's gonna be
Yeah, if
their
it's
house.
gonna be a house or. if it's
Yeah,
gonna
so
be a barn.
barndominium and it's gonna be a house, but barndominiums are popular right now. Way to go.
Yeah, they are.
There's no more questions for the fire chief. I'll look for a motion on the fire department
I
report.
make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Good report.
Yeah, very good.
It was.
And congratulations on the grants.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do, Jane, 'cause you do a lot. You do a lot for me. You do a lot to keep me informed,
They do a lot on their own.
and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right, reports, standing committees. We've got a lot to go through here today, so.
You get a vote on
Do I?
it? You wanna get a vote on it?
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Just trying to make sure you get on.
Motion carries. Well, thank you. I
He's
done,
crossing out at night.
I done swap years. Let's do the easy things first. We've got a bill here from the Alabama League of Municipalities. It's for our membership dues from September 1st to October 31st of 2027. Our dues for the state are $609 even. If we wish to join the National League of Cities, it's an extra $328 with a total of $937. I don't remember what we've done with this in the past. I think we're just a member of the state, aren't we?
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes.
So, that's up to y'all, it's in front of you. However y'all like to proceed, the way we'll proceed.
I make a motion that we pay dues to the state league, Alabama League of Municipalities.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Uh-huh.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, I'm gonna pass this back to you. Julia, if you'll, I'm trying to focus it back up now, so my phone will look, if you'll mail them a check. You just took care of there, we appreciate it. Alright, I had sent y'all an email earlier today with a memorandum of understanding between the Blount County Commission and the town of Rosa regarding debris removal and monitoring services. I believe this is a 3-year, is that right? 3-year term?
I think it said that in there.
Yeah, I read it
It
somewhere.
was every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, it was every year, and I think they had bumped it to a 3-year.
Now, probate judge is not involved.
I don't know where I'm headed.
But this is something that we've been part of in the past,
Yes.
and, so,
We not did one last year, voted on one last year.
we voted on one sometime, I don't remember if it was last year or a few years before.
Yeah. 3 years. It's on the back.
So like the storm we had last month, or a few days ago, had a tree down on 30, oh, actually 2 trees down on 33. Was it the fire department that responded to that?
Sure did.
And somebody had a backhoe and a dump truck out there.
That was the county commission that I had to call.
Yeah.
So,
And this is so, I mean, this is really necessary, because we don't have any equipment to go and
Right.
move a big old tree, and if the county does it, it's kinda like with our highway fund, we go ahead and pay them.
Tree.
Yeah.
Well, and the main part of this is for like a big
tornado.
natural disaster or something, you know.
Yeah.
And what it's, and you can read it, but from what I got out of it is that the county would handle, you know, like any FEMA money or anything for that, for the town, and they would apply that money toward it, and if there was any money left over, it would go back to town, or if not, you know, we have to pay which I mean, that's what we already do anyways, they charge us for when they come and, like clean up those trees on. They don't always do it on 33 or the major roads, because those are farm to market roads, and
Federal money.
they get federal money to upkeep those, so they don't always charge us on the farm to market roads, but like, you know, I think we had a bill last month, wasn't it, they had to clean one up on Peggy Ann Lane and somewhere else, and they generally charge us for those smaller roads inside of the town, but usually the major thoroughfares, we don't get charged for, because really the maintenance on those.
They charge us for those 33?
No. No, 'cause that's all part of their, deal to keep their federal money on it for being a farm to market road. Way I understand it now, if I misunderstood it, someone let me know. But if anybody wants to.
I think if we owe them anything, they let us know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they would. But, this is something that, y'all want to move forward on. It's something that I've got to sign and carry to the commission chairman and have him sign and submit it to the county, so.
I move that we have the mayor go ahead and accept and sign the memorandum of understanding between the Blount County Commission and the town of Rosa regarding debris removal and monitoring.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And I'll try to meet Mr. Harvey maybe tomorrow. Me and him can just sign this together, so. I think we had it at the end of the month, but they had sent it, and the engineers sent it, and wanted us to get it on the agenda to discuss in this month's meeting. All right. Next up, what we've all been waiting for. One more thing I did want to talk about before we get into this is I did get another email back from the federal government on our funds on the closeout on the COVID money that we used for the annex, and I answered the questions on that and sent it back, so I'm just waiting for them to finalize the closeout. So I had already went through and done the financial reports and all that earlier in the year, and it took them like 6 months to review that and send us the closeout. It was just pretty much. Not yet, anyway. And that's basically what it was saying, that you know, that it was just certifying that the numbers that I had submitted, and you know, everything was pretty much just certifying the thing. I'm sure they'll review all of it and either close it out or kick it back to me and tell me I need to do something else. So that's been an ongoing thing.
For years.
There's a lot of work.
Be nice to close that out. But I'm glad we didn't let the money go back, and we met, thanks to Jason getting in there and figuring out how to get in there, we were able to get that money spent.
Already benefited from it.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
And we're gonna look into it, and it's just, I hadn't had time to get into it yet, but we'll look at getting that thing insulated for winter time to help out on the gas bill, and, I've got a few names of some people I've gotta call and get us 3 bids on just spray foam that thing up. From what I understand, they want to use open cell, insulations to the clothes for it being a building like that, so they can breathe, you know. I'll start trying to work on that as we head into the fall, and hopefully get it done before.
Before we have more expensive bills.
Yeah, so we can bring it forward.
No, we try to keep that heat in there with some insulation so we don't.
And we probably should insulate it when we,
Hey, we can probably save it on heat enough money to pay for the installation one time, one bill.
so
Yeah.
it won't take but a few months.
Yeah.
And I really didn't think it would be that much, you know. My thoughts were that we would save money on the building and that we wouldn't really need the insulation. We had a really cold winter this past winter, but you know, I thought if that heat would just kick on and keep it right above freezing, that we could all, you know, maintain our goal, us, of spending as little as we could, and then, you know, being able to store the trucks and water in it without freezing or any valves or anything freezing. And I guess I miscalculated on what it was gonna take to keep it above freezing. So probably should have looked at the insulated when we done it. It'll be alright, we can spray it, it'll be good, we can still accomplish it. Alright, the letter that Jack had, sent to the state about our audits and getting those up to date. I'll just read this,
I can give you an overview if you like.
yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
I'd love for you to.
The letter was crafted to get the examiner of the public's account opinion about our plan to be compliant. It didn't have benchmarks and timeframes to get completed on purpose. I didn't want to go to that trouble for them to not approve the thing. So the result of the initial letter was they're okay with us moving forward the way we talked. And to remind everybody, by the QuickBooks subscription, recreate, go back through all the transactions for the past 2 years, set up a chart of accounts that's fund-based, and apply those expenditures and receipts based on the fund. And then, if we have expenditures greater than $100,000 a year, the compliance or the requirement to report kicks in. So the next step we need to do is to take what I outlined in the initial letter, put benchmarks and time frames in which we'll accomplish that, have the mayor sign it. Ms. Byrd informed me that the mayor is responsible for that plan, so we'll make sure you and the council is okay with that. And go forward. And, the QuickBook acquisition is one thing, the $3,000 budget or goal for engaging the accounting firm if we need it, Barfield, Murphy, and Shea. And then doing the work. We talked about me and Julia teaming up and bringing that current. So I'm thinking that probably 90 days from their receipt of our letter, we could have it prior 2 years complete.
And that's all we're asking for is prior 2 years.
Instead of 3 years like the letter said,
They want 25 and 26.
24 and 25. And then we'll have to see how 26 shapes up.
I was thinking about this the other day. Do we need to have a budget committee and come up with a budget for this next year, or to carry forward like we've done here, just put this in QuickBooks and use that as our budget, or what
Let's,
y'all's
let's
thoughts on
get
that?
I recommend that we establish a baseline, and then other management things like budget and things like that can come later.
Cause once we get that established, the budget should be really easy to,
We'll have a system
To
to
appropriate.
manage the budget.
right,
We haven't needed one up till now. We
but,
evolved 19th century.
so what do we need to do going forward to put this plan in motion, I guess?
Yeah, they've got bullet points here. They want the date and the firm that did the last audit. And I know that H&R Block said they did an audit, but they didn't do an audit like they're a fund, a gap accounting type audit.
So are we gonna need to have that done?
No, we're going to say that one has never been completed.
Right.
And, then we're gonna get an engagement letter from Barfield, Murphy and Shank explaining their role in this process.
Okay.
And then, we need to give them estimated expenditures for 26, can you do that? The current status of the audit, which is, we've gotta get the books built before we can determine if that's needed, and then, the time frame for the audit's completion, and a plan to achieve and maintain compliance to the rule, to the reporting requirement.
So we've already approved to get the QuickBooks.
Yeah, basically, we approved the plan, we just need to put some benchmarks and time frame for completion in and have you sign it.
Okay.
So, let me work on that, I'll present that next month.
Okay.
You know, we sent this to them in May, and they say they only got, they just got it July 20th. Went that like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe they're on vacation in June.
It's probably like anything else that goes around the state, it bounces around the mail room until it gets to where it's supposed to go.
But, you know, we hadn't heard anything, so I called down there today. Oh, I emailed townofrosaclerk@gmail.com on the 20th. So, where that went, I don't know where they got that, I don't know.
That was one I set up in 2008.
And, not telling what they sent to that.
Now, they did send it to my email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so everything's good, and they say in the first part of the letter, they're gonna work with us, so.
Right. That's good, I appreciate you heading that up, and I know you got a lot of experience with that. I appreciate that.
So, to remind everybody, we've already approved the purchase of the QuickBooks, and we've set a budget to engage the accounting firm, so
Right.
I'll go ahead and get that going,
Okay.
and,
Wasn't here at that meeting, is that something they're doing for the whole state, all municipalities, or is this something for us?
seemed like it was in January when we got the letter or something.
Yeah.
They,
So it's for the whole state, all municipalities.
They jumped on all the little towns that hadn't sent a report or an audit, and said that they needed an audit for the last 3 years, I think is what they said.
I think the original letter said the previous 5, and then when you engaged them, they knocked it down to 2. The first time you spoke with them.
Sure, you wasn't the only one they heard from.
actually through the accountants, I understand there's a association of accountants that work with little towns and stuff. And they're kind of fighting the legislation. It's an unfunded mandate, there's a hardship on the little towns. You know, even us, it's,
Yeah, it's costing us more money because we have to pay for of course, the accounting firm. And it's not a lot more, but still, it's a budget.
it's pretty significant. I mean, if we have to have a full-blown audit, it's really gonna be tough, you know. So, you know, like $20,000 tough.
Yeah.
So, we're working to head that off. So,
Well, we'll get that, just let me know what I need to do to help you and help Julia. We'll get what you need to build that, and maybe we can all get together and learn it together. I know you already know, you'll have to teach me and Julia.
I don't know everything, but I know a little bit.
Well, other than that, that's all I had for tonight, I think. Anybody got anything else to bring for the?
I'll just remind, we've already approved, well, it's almost September, so we'll be writing a check for the schools, for the
Education
radiothon.
Foundation? Okay.
And usually the mayor takes that to the radiothon, so I'll be looking for an email from,
If I can't go that day, I might get you to take it.
okay, I don't mind. It's, Mitchie Neal is giving it up, and Charity Cleveland is starting to try to take over her. It's a big set of shoes to fill, Mitchie Neal's, okay? So I wouldn't want that job. She's done a lot.
It's always good to support and do our part as a.
We should be getting a 10-year plaque or something, because we've been in it 10 years.
Okay.
We've been in it 18, almost 18.
Now,
No, for giving the grant.
School.
Yeah. Because we didn't start that till how many years, Andy?
10 years,
Okay.
we got our 10th year in this last time, if I'm not mistaken.
Time flies.
Well, all right then.
I got one more thing. So I forgot to put it on the report. So the it used to be our old rescue truck, the little truck that we use for a brush truck now has developed a very bad oil leak. So kind of keep your ears open if you know anybody that may be willing to donate. It could be an old square body Ford or Chevy or something, 4x4 pickup truck that we can turn into a brush truck. Because we're going to need to be looking for a brush truck soon. Because this one is getting, I don't think it's got much life left in it, because it came from Thompson Tractor when we got it probably about 10, 15 years ago as a rescue truck. So it's on its way out the door. So
Where's it leak? Is it leaking in between the engine and transmission? Is it just a main seal?
it's everything. You can go look in the floor. It's everything.
Okay, my son all that. Thompson Tractor.
Well, all right. If there's not anything else to bring before the council.
Make a motion with adjourn.
All right. You got a motion, need a second.
I'll second.
Andy already seconded.
Oh, Andy had already said.
All in favor, say
Yeah,
aye.
I didn't hear it.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank y'all. That was a lot, man.